Okay. Native America. This is period 1 of Apush. From 1491 to 1607. Over here. Not a lot happens here. There are some semi-sedentary societies, which means that there's a focus on self-sufficiency and community, planting crops in warm weather, and then hunting and gathering in colder seasons. General things to note about semi-sedentary societies is that maize promoted growth. They had efficient agriculture, dense populations, aggressive bureaucratic states, and well-established capitals. Now, Mississippi Valley was a fertile place. I think it's just generally over here. Tiny ass map. Yeah, it's generally this area. It was fertile right there because you're closer to the ocean. And then there's a lot of maize growing, but then in the eastern woodlands, which is if you think about the Appalachia, it's it's not Appalachia, but it was down here. I think you had the eastern woodlands. Yeah, there's bison and chiefdoms. I don't know anything else about it. I'll tell you more later.
There's no bison in the south.
I wasn't talking about the south, I was talking about the eastern woodlands.
East?
Yeah.
There's no bison.
Yes, there are.
In the north?
In my notes, it says eastern woodlands, bison. Excuse me if I'm wrong. I don't think I am. Okay, Great Plains and Rockies. You would think that over here, yeah, there's a lot of land. Is it good for farming? Heck no. You're not going to see farms over here. Think twice, buddy. They're hunters and gatherers. There were also horse out there.
Where's more native to America?
Arid Southwest. Pueblos. They made really cool irrigation systems. So you're thinking out here? Yeah, that's where they are. The Pueblos, I think. That. Just think about general areas. They weren't over here. Just know where they're not. Pueblo, they created really cool irrigation systems that collected water when it rained. You thought, no, there can't be farms. That doesn't make sense. Why would there be farms in the desert? Well, there is, because they were smart. Pacific Coast. Pacific Coast is also where I just pointed where the Pueblos were, so let's just...
The Pueblos were in the southwest. They were around New Mexico.
Yeah, I pointed there. I made a broad statement. Hunter-gatherers were diverse people in the Pacific Coast. Keep that in mind. That won't be important later. It won't. Native American people were uniquely adapted to their physical environment. There are many thriving societies, but you can't thrive without adapting to your environment. Maize was easy to grow, so they planted that in the Mississippi Valley areas. We talked about this. Get with the program. Hunter-gatherer. Let me define the term that I used 5 times. Nomadic. They are usually using in smaller groups, so no more than 300 people. Agricultural societies were more settled down, allows for larger population and more complexity. Now, some areas were both, and those were the semi-sedentary societies. Mississippi Valley had fertile land, supported settled farming. Why is Mississippi Valley so important? I don't know, but it comes up several times. Dense populations, complex cultures, and burial mounds. They're really big burial mounds just out in the middle of nowhere. People happen upon them. Eastern woodlands. There's a lot of hunting. There's deer, turkey, rabbit. They were semi-sedentary, smaller scale agriculture. They're pretty cultivated, so that means they tended to the forest with these controlled burns that they learned how to do. That was cool. The Great Lakes, so up here, they used waterways as highways, so they were mobile. So that means they actually had a trade network, but they're also semi-sedentary. So they did a lot of agriculture. And Great Plains and Rockies, we talked about this. Oh, I was wrong about eastern woodlands. There's deer, turkey, and rabbit in the eastern woodlands, but in the Great Plains and Rockies, there's bison and brown birds. Not fertile enough for settled farming. You thought it was. Me too. It's not. We talked about that.
Wait, was that the Rockies?
The Rockies with the bison?
No, the one that wasn't fertile.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
It makes sense, but then you throw in Great Plains and you're like, okay, there's farmland out there. No.
Plains.
It's dry. It's a desert.
Yeah. That's like Arizona.
But not all deserts don't have farms. Actually, if you think about over here, the Pueblos got that irrigation system down. I'm just telling you. Oh, let's see. I can't remember. They had small scale farming. Oh, by the way, how did they view their land? What did they think about it? Land was a gift. Technically, no ownership, no private property. You can actually use the land for casinos. That's a modern pop culture reference. They like Native Americans are okay with like casinos building like I think on their land. There's a whole thing in like Bristol, Tennessee about it. And I remember people like there were it was almost like it was voting day. It was like political signs in every freaking yard. Don't let them build a casino. I think the casino could be good because more jobs and more people. Yeah. They're like, we don't have space for that here. They're like, the freaking Native Americans. Anyways, use only what is needed. No waste. You'll see how that actually is important. But what motivated and enabled European discovery and settlement of the Americas? Maybe you think it's because they were being controlling and competitive wealth. No. Think again. It actually was not about this hat is itchy.
You put it on.
That's because this town's only big enough for me. Competition. That's why. It's like the moon landing. Was it curiosity? It was just more of who can get there first. Let's see. Also, I think Russia was going to blow us up. But when are they not? Wealth as well. Trade route to India and China. They're like, we got to be the first ones there. So they happen upon America and they're like, India! No. They during this time, there was a big revolution about spreading Christianity. So that's what they wanted to do. There's just a general motivation for exploration as well because they had new developments. Their maps were better, their compasses were getting better and more accurate. However, Spanish conquest, how did a small number of Spanish forces conquer the Aztecs, Mayan, and Incan empires, which were actually huge? They actually this is like the original spies. They literally used the complex culture to their advantage and manipulated it. Hold on, 20%. They manipulated it in a way so that they could use the tyranny against them. Disease killed a huge percent of native people, and they had better technology, so firearms, cannons, and armor. So that's how they did it. What does Spanish society look like in the New World? Encomiendas, Spanish plantations. They used What?
Nothing.
Native Americans to farm, essentially. And mine. Silver was the biggest source of wealth. Pretty much, they're like, well, now we're here. I guess the Native Americans can say, oh my gosh, is there silver here? Yeah, y'all got to go. Y'all have to leave. Big plots of land controlled by few elites. So basically against what the Native Americans believed. They thought that we shouldn't do that. No waste of land and only use what you need. They wanted all of it. They said, I own this land, I conquered it. The Native Americans don't believe that, so it's hard. It's hard to deal with that. Relied on forced labor of natives, and later, then they enslaved Africans after that, but they initially used natives. Mass conversions of natives to Catholicism, often by force. So you have to think about Ferdinand and Isabel were around the same time, had just gone through some changes in Europe. I can't remember, but they were like, there's all this religious fervor and whatnot. Where is this? Okay, I think that's it for Apush period 1. As I said, it's pretty boring. There's no dates really, I don't think, right now. Yeah.
Why? Okay. This doesn't have to be. This isn't educational. So the Spanish, they colonized Western America. There was gold in Western America. Why didn't they take all the gold?
Who?
Spain. They colonized Western America. As well as Florida.
I don't think they realized
And
it was
South
there.
America.
Because I can see like them caring about like silver and stuff, but the gold was, I don't think they realized it was there, and where it was, like they were more focused on crops.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a bigger. It was also 1491. Like, what kind of stuff did they have? You know what I'm saying?
The blues? I don't know.